data in here. So we're going to turn this into this after all the processing that we do. First thing we'll do is just a little crop, and this is just to get rid of the outer edges where there's some stacking artifacts. See this, this hard rip, this hard dark line here? That's just from the edges of the frame kind of, aligning together and shifting around slightly. So we'll just crop it in just a little bit because we don't want to see any of those dark details on the histogram. So we've cropped it a little bit, and now we're going to actually look at the levels, which are, there's not a whole lot we can do here. It's actually pulling in a lot of this black data here from the trees that we've stacked on top of each other into a blob. So if this image didn't include that, it would make a more natural looking histogram. It would actually make it easier to process, but
I chose Shopify because when I was testing other platforms, it was definitely one of the most user-friendly. I look at it multiple times a day. Compare sales to last year, to last week. We're seeing new categories we want to get into. All of the tools were really helpful.
The Empire tried to kill me. Demands consequence. Get more, you bundle of hula.
It's easier to accept a story than believe that the people around you are monsters.
You're with the crazy lady.
This is your moment to shine. Breathe.
She's crazy, Dad. Crazy lady.
this is where we're at. So from here, we will go to image mode and switch it from a 32-bit mode to 16-bit. And this will give us expanded options for processing. The mode here is just exposure and gamma. Don't use any of the other modes here, local adaptation, and definitely don't play with any of these HDR toning settings, as tempting as it may be. Just go to exposure and gamma. We're just simply converting it to a 16-bit image. Now we can look at the levels, and the histogram's changed a little bit. This little hump here is the black data over here. So we can just skip over that and pull right into the edge of the real mountain here, which is this is the Milky Way image data all here. So it's looking rather dark, so let's use curves to make our initial stretch, which will go a long way. So in layer, new adjustment layer, curves, call it curves 1, and we'll just do a standard non-linear curve stretch. Which will pull out a lot of the details, and you just want to make sure that you're not hitting the roof of the histogram here. You may want to pull this portion of the curve slider into create that S curve, which will create more contrast. I think we'll just leave it about there. I'm happy with that for now. We can just close this, and because it's a new adjustment layer, we can go before and after we've made that change. At this point, I like to use the keyboard command on a PC. I'm not sure what it is on a Mac, so I'm sorry, I'm sure there is one. Control Shift Alt N plus E. It just creates a new merged layer of everything on top. So this one will get Histogram of what we're looking at. So here we are with the curves. Now on this layer, I'm going to do an even more aggressive curve stretch. This time isolated to just the areas that I want to bring forward and not the ones that I don't. So we'll just go to curves. And then if I hold down the control key, you can see I have this little eyedropper here. I can actually pick a dark part of the image. So I just pick some black sky here and click, and it's plotted that point on the histogram here. And now I will pull, I'm actually going to pull maybe some of this like star glow from the Milky Way here in this kind of yellowy section. And it's plotted that point over here. I'm pointing at the screen and you can see that. So then I'm going to pull here, which is very powerful because it's only pulling out the bright spots that I want to pull out and kind of leaving the dark spots alone. It's not pulling up everything universally. And then you can kind of pull down the dark spots and pull up the bright spots. You don't want to go too aggressive, but it's really a matter of taste here. So as you can see from where we're at, we've really got things really bright. That was perhaps a little too aggressive. So as I like to do, I'm just going to put that layer at 66% opacity. And then I'm going to use that same method for merging a new layer on top. And we're going to work with this layer. All right, at this point, the way I feel with this image is these stars are just really, really bright. So we're going to use our first.
All right, we're going to come back when the sun gets to setting. We're just a test run here. So we'll be back here shortly. See you shortly.